Closure isn't always a conversation, a text, or an apology. Sometimes it's something that we have to create for ourselves. If you've ever felt stuck waiting for answers that never came, this episode is going to show you a different way forward. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Start It's Your Time podcast. I'm excited because we are back to our regular programming. I have Paula here. Hello.
Yay.
Yay.
Reunited.
We're united. Yes, it was just a crazy couple of weeks. Like emotionally, I was a bit of I don't know. I was spiraling quite a few times.
I did too. And same. We were definitely both in the same boat.
Mhm.
And I had like a hard conversation with myself the other night because I think it's unacceptable that I feel a certain way. And not that I'm allowed to have my feelings. Feelings are valid. However, where I was struggling with was, yes, I was feeling these feelings, but I also wasn't making any big actions to combat those feelings. And
Mhm.
worse than that, I think I was spreading my energy to other people. And so I had a real like come to Jesus moment with myself the other night. And I was like, this is done now. You're done.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's so weird. I was asking myself like so many questions like why do I get so invested or why do I give so much power to situations happening around me when it's like, for example, the fires. Like, it was bothering me so much, and like I was having a hard time to like not think about it and not overthink and not like, is it because I'm like such an empath and like I feel things like more than maybe most people and like it really like affects me energetically, emotionally. Like I friggin' don't know, but
So I was thinking about you actually because these fires, obviously terrible, and obviously big conversation in my house,
yes. Oh, well,
and right, and so, but that said, like I was thinking about you, and because I was like, wow, this like it's really bothering you, like it's
yeah. Mhm,
really at you, and
mhm.
I was trying to think about that, and I'm wondering, like, is there something there, like, around, like, your safety? Like, there's something that you feel like something being taken away from you, like, that I mean, and we all have that, but, like, there was something very triggering about it to you
I
specifically.
know, and I was telling Jam, when I was a kid, I just remembered that yesterday or like the day before. When I was a kid, I was constantly having nightmares about my house catching on fire.
Really?
Yeah, and I remember my parents bought me this, like, what's it called? Like a dream catcher,
Yep.
especially for that, because I kept dreaming about that, and it was, like, terrifying, and I'm like, "Oh, that is weird," because now, like, all these fires around me, like, it's giving me, like, so much anxiety. I'm like, "What's the connection?" Like
So, my very woo-woo side that I absolutely have, that I suppress regularly,
Yes,
is, like, I definitely think, like, in a past life, you died in a fire. Like that,
probably.
you had some kind of traumatic event in a previous life
Yeah,
in a fire.
yeah, probably.
It's like
Maybe.
my mom, she is so over the top worried about thunder and lightning storms, like not rational.
Yeah,
Not rational. Like
yeah,
calls me and my sister, and like when there is like a storm, she's like, "Are you inside? Like get away from the windows." Like, and I was like,
right.
"You definitely, there's something in a past life happened to you in a lightning storm. There's no question." So yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's interesting. I mean, do I really believe that? I don't know, but I
yeah,
think it tracks. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I feel like I'm getting back to myself. Like I also
Same.
have like a lot going on, my grandmother's funeral, like just
Yes.
family, like emotions, Amelia's birthday, like it was
A lot happening.
a
Mhm.
lot.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're what turning a page.
Yes. And it's your favorite month coming up. So you should be excited about that.
Yes. So Paula always says that like summer is ending like after August, and I'm like, to me, summer only ends after September. Like I September, like I prefer to me, like summer is like August and September. Like I prefer September over um July definitely. It's just it's my birth month. Like I always have like celebrations. I find it's still nice outside, but it's not like too hot. It's like back to like a routine. I don't know. I just really love that month. So I'm really excited. But speaking of turning the page to a new chapter, like the
Mhm.
topic this week, we want to chat about like how to move forward when you feel like you don't have the closure that you want. Um, because I think it's so, it happened to me like when I was going through like my divorce, like it's like I was waiting for someone to tell me like it's okay. Like there's no explanation. It is what it is. That's what had to happen and you're okay to like turn the page and move forward. It's like I was constantly like battling between like my potential new life and like my old life, and I was like it's like I was waiting for like something written in the sky that would say like you're okay to like move forward, like you're good to like turn that page, like this is the closure that you're waiting for, like, and it was so hard.
Yeah. I think a lot of people struggle with that. And like when I talk to people who, not just like on the other side of that, which is what you're talking about, is like when something's happened and you are in this like kind of middle ground where it's like something's obviously done,
Yeah,
but you're still wrapped up in that and you're still really on a hook
yeah,
with this situation, and you're waiting for it to be perfectly packaged up to you saying like, I release you, you are free to move on. This all makes sense, like it
yeah,
all absolutely from A to Z makes sense in your brain of why
yeah,
this happened and why you should be free to move on. People get wrapped up in that for sure,
yeah,
but there's also like this other situation that I've talked to a lot of women about when they're actually in the relationship, they're in the toxic relationship, and they're waiting for, is this it? Is this the
right,
moment that I blow up my life and leave? Because, like, is it a big enough reason? Can I justify this? Is this the tipping point? And so ultimately, regardless of the situation, it's the same thing. You're waiting for a permission slip to say you're good now to move on.
yeah,
And like that's never coming. I don't know of
no.
any situation for myself, for any of the women that I know that I've talked to about these things, like there's never been a situation where that has happened.
I agree. There's the only thing that's there is the moment that you decide that it's time to move on, that it's done. Like you need to give yourself that permission slip because no one's going to give it to you. Like it's not going to magically make sense one morning.
No, I know. And when I think about that, it's ultimately around like your self worth. And like you have to recognize that like moving on is a gift that you're giving to yourself. And like the time and the energy that you're putting into something that's obviously either done or not working, like you have to value yourself and your time and your happiness so much more than something that's not working or toxic or whatever the situation may be. I've
Mm,
had a lot of friendships in my life that there's been a point where it's like, I know that it's not for me anymore. And so when I think about people who are struggling and not knowing like when to move on, it's what we talk about with our members is like having that really clear vision of who you want to be in
yes.
your head. And when you have that so clearly defined in your head, you recognize the relationships that are holding you back. You recognize the patterns that you can't break. And so it makes it easier. Like I would say, like you need to start there. It makes it easier to say, okay, what's working for me? What's aligning me with this vision that I have? And so it's way more helpful to weed out the things that are not getting you further, or, at least in line with that vision.
Yeah, I think you really need to like make an inventory of what's in alignment and what isn't. And to your point, like if it's not in alignment, that is your sign. That's the closure that you need. And it should be the only thing that you need to move forward. You can stay, you can decide to stay, but just accept that you're not going to have maybe the life that you had envisioned, or like you're not going to have the joy or the fulfillment that you're searching for.
Right. And that's when we talk about your standards, right? Like, what are your standards for your life? And so, if your standard is at the very least, like, I need to feel happy, I need to feel like the relationship in my life, that those are healthy, loving relationships, if that's your standard, well, when something is not giving you that, that's your permission slip. Like, let that be your permission slip to move forward and to close the door. But it's like I said to somebody a while ago, they had all these signs. There were so many signs. And I
Mm,
was like, why are you always looking for a signier sign? You know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
why?
True. Yeah.
You have to, and it comes down to self-worth, but it also comes down to self-trust, right? Like,
Yeah.
you see the signs, you know what they mean. Like, we are all smart people. Like, you know
Yes.
what it means, but you're looking for a signier sign. It's like, no. Like,
That's true. That's
I
true.
we get caught up in that, right?
Yeah.
It's too bad. And you and I were just having that conversation around, like,
Yeah.
people who are, they'll say to us, and it's a big thing that keeps people stuck, is when they say, oh, like, I've given so much time, or I invested so much time, I just lost, how many years with. It's like, first of all, nothing's ever lost, nothing is
Yeah.
ever lost.
Yeah.
and
I agree.
from and from there, like, so nothing's ever lost, but also, like, what are you going to do? You're going to give more time, like, you're going to invest more into this when you already know, like, you're going to stay. And even if something's done, if something has finished, the more time and energy that you're giving to something, like, you might as well still be in that toxic relationship then, because energetically you still are.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I think it's just like part of like human nature that like we want something like concrete. We want something like very like direct, like black on white. Like it's almost like we can't like we can't just like, it needs to be so precise for our brain to be like, oh, okay, like it makes sense. Like it's almost like we need this like perfect, like scripted, like book that says, this is why it happened, this is how it happened,
Yeah.
and this is how it's going to end, and this is how you move forward. But that's just not how life works. And I think to your point, like you need to ask yourself like the question, like, what is it that I want? Because I truly think that there is something to love in anyone, or in like you could like be with someone right now and like find something that you love about that person. And I think
Of course.
what people find hard is when there is still so many things that they love about that person and that relationship.
Right.
I feel like it's like, well, there's all these things that I'm really happy about and that I love, but there's this one thing that is really causing me an issue. But like it's almost like balancing out, and it's like how do I juggle this? Like how do I move on from something that has so many great benefits and so many like positive aspects? And I think people really get caught on that, but it's like it can have all these like great things, but if that one thing is like major and causing you so much pain, like you just need to like you just need to accept that. Like I
But
feel
you know what I think? It makes me think, though, like, we are the CEO of our own life, right? Like, we are, whether you like it or not, you are.
mm,
And so you can own that, and it can be something that's really powerful, or that can scare the shit out of you, So it's just perception.
yeah,
But I think what happens in those situations is people are so scared to make the wrong move. Or
yeah,
if I think about other things in our lives, like, you know, something that comes to mind is like meal prepping or like exercise. We want to like outsource that stuff. We don't trust that we know what we like or we know how to do things. We always try to like give this power over to other people. And I
Yeah.
think like again, it comes back to self-trust. I think people really struggle with that they're like, no, I want it's looking for that sign of your sign. It's like I want somebody to so clearly tell me this is the right way and this is the wrong way.
Yeah.
And when you're the CEO of your own life, like you're the one that has to call those shots. Like I say to our members before, like no one's coming to save you. And
Yeah.
that when you're in those situations can be really scary. But like once you recognize that like you've got your back, like you know yourself and you do have that self-trust, well then that becomes a superpower. But
Yes.
that's a journey. That's a journey.
Yeah, I agree. And like when all of this was happening to me, like I really had to sit with myself and like look at my life and determine who is it that I want to be? What do I want my life to look like? What is aligning with my values? And I had to create that closure for myself. I had to come to terms with what happened. I had to give myself that permission to like move forward and like trust that whatever is out there is going to be even better than what I'm leaving behind. Like I just had to like trust. I just had to trust. And I chose to believe that like, you know what? Like if I'm really making a mistake right now by moving forward, life will happen in a way that is going to come back to me. Like, right? Like, I
Absolutely.
think that's what people are so scared of. I'm like, if if truly that girl or that guy, if they're truly your person, even if you move across the country right now,
Right.
you're going to find your way back to each other if it's truly your person. I 100% believe that. And so
I agree. And
yeah,
when it comes to stuff like that, I don't believe anything's a mistake. I
yes,
don't believe that if you are listening to your heart and you really sat still with yourself, like in a
yes,
real way, like not other people's opinions, not what you think you should be doing, if you
yes,
really like stood still with yourself and you really listened to your gut and to your heart, nothing's a mistake. You do what you do in those moments because that is exactly what is right for you in that moment. Whether that panned out how you thought it was going to is really doesn't matter. But listening to yourself and to your point, I do think that when you do that, regardless of the outcome, it is going to work out the exact way it should. And like probably like if you took that example you just used of like, okay, you found the love of your life later on after something had happened,
yes.
like you're going to be smarter, you're going to be stronger, you're going to like all those things are what will make sense in the bigger picture. I am such a believer in that.
Same, absolutely. And I think like I said, the sooner that you like give yourself that closure, the sooner you can start like seeing what is out there and what this is all about, like what's happening. Like you can't like move forward if you constantly look at the past and you constantly like want to go back.
That's
Like
right.
you just, yeah, some people also, you could be chasing a closure from someone that's never going to see it the way that you do. Like,
Oh.
I think that's a big one. Like, if you're
Mhm.
waiting for someone to apologize, that person might never be on that same page. That person might never realize that they have something to apologize for to begin with. So you can wait a lifetime.
Yeah. I
Like,
have had so many situations of like that I can think of where and one is like kind of really fresh in my mind of somebody who came to me talking to me about this situation that they were in with this person and just a lot of history with this person, never taking accountability, never, just not really even having empathy, like just there's
yeah,
just a lot of factors. And this woman came to me and she was telling me what she wants to say, right? Like all she just kind of had like a full verbal like unleashing to me on what she wants to say to this person. Okay.
yeah,
And it was like I was getting text messages that were like novels. And I was like, okay, you let that all out, and everything you just said, super valid, 100%, like on point.
Yeah.
You need to realize two things. They are never going to see it that way. They are never going to feel what you want them to feel by sending that. They're never going to be like, you know what, you had a point. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter how much truth there is to what you said. They're never going to come around to that.
Yeah.
And secondly, now you're on this hook. Now you've opened up the door of like, now you are trying to get somebody who's like, what I always equate it to is like, if there's a crazy person standing on the side of the street and they are clearly crazy, like they
Yeah.
are just like screaming and whatever, you going up to them and trying to reason with them and have a conversation, like it's not going to happen. You need
No.
to take it back and you need to see people fully as they are and say like, am I going to really try to match that energy right now? Am I really trying? So I said to her, I was like, you know, this is your closure. Your closure is not sending the huge text and not getting the last word out, because
Yeah.
that's going to create the opposite. Now you're in an exchange, and
Yeah.
now you are going to be always disappointed because that's never going to get you the result that you want. This is the perfect time that you said all the things you needed to say to me, not the right audience, but fair enough. It's out there. You got it off your chest.
Yeah.
This is the closure.
Mm.
Let it go.
And to that point, like how many times, like everything that like that I had on my heart, like I was writing it down. I remember like writing like novels, to your point,
Yep.
like I'm going to say everything that I want to say, everything that's on my heart, all the moments that I think should have been handled differently.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be my closure. Like
Right.
this, I'm not gonna send that letter. I'm not gonna do anything with that letter except from like basically getting it out of me and
Right.
on paper. And that's gonna be like, this is me. This is what I feel. This is what I think. And like, that's my closure. Like, and
Yeah.
I had so many clients do that for things that they felt guilty for, all kinds of things. And
Right.
it's so powerful, so powerful. I had some clients actually send that letter
Yeah.
to the person and without expecting anything in return. I think that's the key to your point. Like
Yeah.
if you do choose to send it, make sure that you like write at the end that you're not expecting an answer, like that you're not looking for that. It's for your
Right.
own
That's right.
personal closure. And I've
That's right.
had some clients that burnt the letters. Like
I've
it's
done that.
yeah,
I've written letters and I
yeah,
burnt it. And for me, it was like symbolic of like, this is done now. I release this energy.
yeah,
It's out of me. But to your point, like, I do think it's very powerful and very important to get it out.
yeah,
So even if it's not like that type of closure that you're looking for, like, even if you can, like, speak to somebody about it, if you can write it in a letter, however you need to get it out, I do think that is like very important so that you can move on. But understanding that it doesn't need to be to that person, or if it is like the expectation, you can't expect that person to go, like I said at the beginning, okay, and now I release you from the
yeah,
situation. Cause
yeah,
like I've never heard that happening where that has happened, right? Like where the person says, you know what, everything you've said has made sense.
yeah,
And there you go.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're listening to this and you're feeling like you've been waiting for that closure, just know that this is your sign to give yourself that beautiful gift
Yeah.
of it's done. Like you're allowed to move on, like create your own closure. Don't wait for answers, don't wait for signs, like start moving on right now. And eventually I think everyone does get some peace of mind around like why things happened, and
Yes.
it makes more sense along the way. But in order to feel that, I think you need to move forward first. Like you need to take that first step.
Let this be your sign.
Yes.
Let this conversation that popped up for you today,
Yeah.
let this be your sign that you do not need any kind of apologies. You do not need things to make perfect sense. You have permission to move on with your life in the direction that you see fit for yourself.
Yeah, that was good. Great conversation, everyone. Thank you for listening. As always, if you like the episode, feel free to like, share, tag us. We love to hear it, and we're just happy that you're here. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.